My name's Mark Tierney. I'm from Carrickmore here, born and reared. This is where I learned to fish. My grandfather and my father and great uncles all fished here. Very prolific wee place for catching trout, and a lot of kids and a lot of local people would have fished here when I was a kid, you know. We could buy a fishing rod for 30, 40 quid and get your license, and that's all you need to go fishing. And for people with mental health issues, water has a very healing quality, and can be very beneficial to them. We have many instances of it. It's not all about catching; it's about being here and being in the surroundings. And you see your squirrels, you see your kingfishers, you see the occasional fox. It gives you that appreciation of nature and the surroundings that we have around us here. Most of this would be classed now as a sanctuary area. Numbers of salmon have declined a bit, possibly due to quarrying industry and the agriculture pollution and domestic pollution, which is a factor in the Ree River. As the crow flies, we're probably only about 4 or 5 miles here from Greenchastle, where the mine is down. And we started to realise I heard things mentioned like the Sahara dust that came here a number of years ago. It actually came a couple of times here in the last 10, 12 years. And I remember getting up in the car covered in orange dust, and then hearing that the mine dust is even finer again and will travel further. And our weather here isn't conducive to that type of an industry. So for me as an angler, I became very worried, and then I brought it to our federation and we discussed it, and we realised, we looked at samples all over the world, and water quality is one of the first things that are negatively impacted from mining industry. And we know that in the past that the exploration tunnel that's there has polluted our waterways on at least 5 occasions, and I mean at least. This is 5 times that they were detected. Many times that it probably happened and it was undetected. With these incidents in the past, they were tried to be swept under the carpet. They were asked about pollution incidents, they actually told lies. And that's a big statement, but they told lies saying that no pollution happened. It was only through a Freedom of Information request that we were able to get that information. I was very worried, because if this company are in the exploration stage, we're prepared to tell lies now, what are they not going to do when they're up and running? So, as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather prefer to be remembered for being opposed to them, but I can be damn sure that I'm not one of the people that are remembered down the lines as being rolled over and never mopped over us. I have grandchildren. When I take my granddaughters here, she's a bit young yet. She'll be the 5th generation in my family that has fished this location. Hopefully, our next generation maybe we'll try it at some stage too. What we have here is a duo, and I'd be always on the side of erring on the side of caution. Prevention's better than the cure and all those old cliches, but really it is. We have a waterway system that already has issues with pollution. Why put more pressure and more stress on it, especially to line the pockets of a few greedy individuals, in my opinion. One of the things that people don't seem to realise is that this is the literal David versus Goliath battle. This is a multinational conglomerate that have mountains and mountains of money, and they're determined to voice this upon the local people. The groups that are working, we don't do it for nothing. We do it because we're determined to protect our environment and protect our future generations. So I'm aware that these days we set up a crowdfunder page, and there's been no cause any more worthy than this one. And we just ask that everyone would make whatever donation they can, share the post of the crowdfunder page, because it's important that we make people aware of what we're doing, and give what you can.